Las Vegas Raiders are not sending a quiet warning anymore. They are putting the whole AFC West on notice. This does not feel like a soft reset. This feels like a franchise tired of being treated like the easy mark on the schedule. Fernando Mendoza walks in as the new face of the building. Tyler Linderbaum walks in to protect the middle. Ashton Jeanty gets a stronger runway. Brock Bowers gives the offense a matchup problem. And Max Crosby is still standing on the other side like the heartbeat of the defense. That is not random movement. That is a team trying to change how the league talks about Las Vegas. But here is the twist. The biggest story is not only the rookie quarterback, it is the way everything around him suddenly looks connected. Clint Kubiak gets a fresh offense to shape. Kirk Cousins gives the quarterback room a real veteran voice. Rob Leonard gets a defense with new speed, new edge help, and new second-level pieces. Kwity Paye, Kay Walker, and Nakobe Dean do not walk into this roster by accident. They walk into a plan. And when a team adds this much structure before the first snap, the message is clear. The Raiders are not hoping for a surprise. They are building one. The part nobody should ignore is how many hidden pressure points are sitting under the headline names. Kean Sloan is not just another undrafted body. Kansei Matsuzawa is not just another camp kicker. The Tyree Wilson trade was not just a move to clear space. Every piece says the new front office is cutting away the old version of this roster and betting on players who fit the new one. Still, everything starts with one question. Did the Raiders simply take the obvious quarterback, or did they find something in Fernando Mendoza the rest of the league has not fully understood yet? The easy story says Fernando Mendoza was always going to be the pick. Number one quarterback, new face of the Las Vegas Raiders, clean answer. Simple headline. But that is not where the real story lives. The real story is what John Spytek did before turning in the card. He did not treat Mendoza like a trophy already sitting on the table. He treated him like a problem that still needed to be solved. That matters, because bad teams fall in love too fast, and smart teams keep asking harder questions. That is where this pick starts to feel different. Mendoza was not being judged only by his best throws or his biggest wins. The Raiders wanted to know how he handled pressure, cold games, mistakes, interviews, silence, and the small moments nobody puts in a highlight package. That kind of search tells you the new front office is not shopping for hype. They are trying to find out if the rookie quarterback can carry the weight when the building gets loud and the season stops being cute. And now the pressure flips, because once Las Vegas takes Mendoza first overall, the question is no longer whether he belongs in the plan. The question is how fast Clint Kubiak lets him touch the field. That is where things get dangerous, because Mendoza is not walking into an empty quarterback room. He is walking into a room with Kirk Cousins, Aiden O'Connell, and a coaching staff that has no reason to rush the wrong decision. Most fans want the clean version. Draft Fernando Mendoza, hand him the keys, let the new era begin. But the Raiders did not build this room for a movie ending. They built it for control. Kirk Cousins is not just a veteran name sitting in the corner. He has lived inside real NFL systems, worked with Clint Kubiak before, and knows how to keep an offense calm when the first plan breaks. That changes the whole timeline. Then there is Aiden O'Connell, and ignoring him would be lazy. He already knows the building. He already knows what it feels like when Raiders fans turn every snap into a referendum. He might not be the shiny name, but he gives Kubiak another option if the staff wants Mendoza to learn without throwing him into every hit, every third down, and every ugly road game before he is ready. That is what makes this so interesting. The rookie has the future, Cousins has the experience, O'Connell has the familiarity, and Kubiak has to decide which one gives the team the best chance when the first real game stops being about hope. The quarterback room is not a side story anymore. It is the first major test of how this new Raiders era handles pressure. A young quarterback only survives if the building protects him, and Las Vegas finally seems to understand that. Tyler Linderbaum is the kind of center who changes the feel of the entire front. He gives Fernando Mendoza a steady voice before the snap and a cleaner pocket after it. That is not a small detail. For a rookie quarterback, the middle of the line is where panic either starts or dies. The help does not stop there. Jalen Naylor adds speed and space. Trey Zune III gives the offensive line another young piece. Malik Benson gives the receiver room more juice. Mike Washington Jr. walks in as a bigger back who can take punishment off Ashton Jeanty. And Brock Bowers is still the matchup problem every defense has to circle before the ball even moves. Suddenly, Mendoza is not being asked to save a broken offense by himself. That is the real change. The Raiders are not just asking a rookie quarterback to be special, they are trying to make his job make sense. Run game, protection, tight end threat, veteran voice, more speed outside. That is how a team takes pressure off a young passer without admitting it out loud. But the offense is only half of the message, because the defense is being rebuilt with the same kind of purpose. The loud names are on offense, but the quiet change might be happening on defense. Rob Leonard did not walk into this job as a stranger. He already worked with this front. He already had a connection with Max Crosby. That matters because a defense does not change overnight through speeches. It changes when the players trust the voice asking them to play faster, harder, and cleaner. Now look at the pieces around him. Kwity Paye gives the edge group a real new body. Key Walker brings range to the linebacker room. Nakobe Dean brings a different kind of speed and feel. Malcolm Kuntze stays in the mix. Thomas Booker IV gives the inside group continuity. Kieran Crawford arrives as a drafted edge piece with room to grow. This is not just collecting names. This is a staff trying to build a front that moves with a purpose. And that is why Crosby becomes even more important. He is still the tone setter, but the Raiders cannot ask him to be the entire storm by himself. Leonard needs waves. He needs fresh legs. He needs defenders who fit the new structure. That is why one draft day move said more than most people realized. Because when Las Vegas moved on from Tyree Wilson, it exposed how serious this front office really is. Trading Tyree Wilson was not a small roster note. It was a warning sign to everyone in the building. Draft status will not save you. Old plans will not protect you. A former top pick can still be moved if the new staff sees a different future. That is not disrespect to Wilson. It is reality. John Spytek and Clint Kubiak are not here to defend decisions they did not make. The return told its own story. Las Vegas sent Wilson and a late pick to the New Orleans Saints, then used the new pick on Dalton Johnson. That is where the move gets more interesting. The headline is the edge rusher leaving. The deeper story is the safety arriving. Johnson gives Rob Leonard another defensive back with experience, toughness, and a chance to fit the new shape of the secondary. Now pair Johnson with Traden Stukes, and the plan starts to show. The Raiders did not just throw bodies at the back end. They added players who understand angles, communication, and contact. That matters in a division with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Bo Nix waiting twice a year. The Wilson trade was not about giving up. It was about choosing fit over reputation. And that same idea shows up again with the hidden names almost nobody is talking about. Every draft class has names that get pushed to the side because the first round steals all the light. For the Raiders, one of those names is Cian Sloan. He arrives as an undrafted rookie defensive end from NC State, and he is exactly the kind of player a new defensive staff studies closely. Not because he is already a star, because he gives them traits to test. Edge work, movement, effort, special teams value. Those are the paths that turn overlooked players into real roster problems. Then there is Kansei Matsuzawa, and his story does not feel normal at all. A kicker from Hawaii with roots in the Tokyo area, who came to football late and taught himself the craft through video. That kind of path sounds impossible until the ball starts flying straight. Now he enters a real kicking competition in Las Vegas, and suddenly a position most fans ignore becomes one of the more unique battles in camp. That is what makes this roster feel deeper than the surface. Mendoza gets the headline, Crosby gets the respect, Bowers gets the matchup attention. But teams change when the lower half of the roster starts pushing people. Sloan and Matsuzawa might not be the faces of the rebuild, but they show how wide the search has become. And once the schedule hits, every one of these bets gets judged fast. The talk ends when the schedule starts biting back. The Raiders have home games against the Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Chargers, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, Los Angeles Rams, Seattle Seahawks, and Tennessee Titans. That is not a soft path. That is a real test of whether this new version of Las Vegas can handle power, speed, and veteran teams without folding late. The road side is just as revealing. Las Vegas has to travel for the division matchups, then deal with the New England Patriots, New York Jets, Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, Cleveland Browns, and New Orleans Saints. That is where the win total gets interesting. The market sits at 5.5, but that number still treats the Raiders like the old version. It does not fully price in Mendoza, Linderbaum, Cousins, Pay, Walker, Dean, and the new staff all arriving together. So now the question is simple. Are the Raiders still a 5-win team, or is the league looking at a roster that is about to jump before people are ready to admit it? Kubiak has the quarterback room, Spytek has the roster reset, Leonard has the defensive pieces, Crosby still has the edge. The message has already been sent. Now Las Vegas has to prove the warning was real.